to Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wilding in the stands. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gon' be our year. We're here drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring. Yeah.
Hi guys, thank you Brian. I apologize. Barry, of course, as you can see, is not in studio, so I am looking like an idiot trying to set up all this stuff here. I really miss you, Barry. As you can see, I couldn't get the Light the Beam song to start. I wanted to play it for y'all. But hey, welcome to Royal Rebounds. The Kings win. Game 6 on the road, going away, destroying the Warriors. There will be a Game 7 in Sacramento on Sunday. Light the fucking beam. Barry is with us, of course, because I am inept and unable to get all of this stuff working. I couldn't get Twitter Spaces started. Barry, can you hear me?
Can hear you loud and clear, buddy. Light the beam.
Light the beam. As I mentioned, Barry is in Las Vegas, Nevada. So, Barry, my question to you is this. How much money are you putting on the Kings to win Game 7 at the Sportsbook?
Ho, 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 ho. Calvin, dude, I didn't know you were going to start out with the hot questions right away. I just want to know why the fuck the Kings can only win when I'm out of state, dude. They are 0-3 when I'm in Maui, but they're 3-0 when I am gone and not in the studio. So good news is I will not be in the studio on Sunday, Calvin. So you get another chance to do this again, and maybe I'll put some money down on the game. Who knows?
Well, that sounds great to me. Of course, welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here. PK, Ricky, Double O, Pika House, Jose, Alfie Man is here, Daniel, Brian, Fred Dixon is in the building, and of course, anybody that I missed, welcome to Royal Rebounds. If this is your first time to the channel, please smash up that like button. Of course, if you are a Kings fan, hit the subscribe button as well. And if you're not, or if this is a regular thing for you, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Kings win, light the beam, smash the like button, smash, smash, smash away. Kings win 118-99. The Warriors couldn't even put up 100 points in their own building with Draymond Green and the rest of the crew. Barry, give me your first thoughts on this pivotal Game 6.
First off, Warriors suck. Kings win. We're going back to Sacramento for Game 7. I'm excited. But no, really, this looked like a much different Kings team. They looked a lot more confident. They guarded the three-point line much better team rebounding. And then, of course, we've been talking about it all series long. Bench production has been key for the Kings. We did see Kevin Huerter hit some threes late in this game, but it was really Malik Monk tonight off the bench that killed it for the Kings. He was the big difference maker for me tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. The bench was there, and hey, the threes were raining. I mean, that's the one thing that we've talked about over and over again so far in this series is that if the Kings can just knock down some outside shots, this should be a no problem for them. They should be able to win this series, not relatively easily, but it's going to make things so much different in a series where the margin for victory has been so close. The Kings have really shot poorly in a lot of these games. If they could just have that one game that we're used to seeing from this team, man, it would change things so much. 17 made threes today. They shot over 40% from three, and they end up winning big time. What up, Mike? Welcome to the show. I want to hear from all of y'all in the chat. Who's going to Game 7, and how much money are you going to spend? Is it even a question of money at this point? Game 7 in Sacramento. It is going to be loud as hell in there. I wish that I could be there to see it in person. But like Barry said, maybe it's better if the two of us just stay away. I don't know. I'm a little superstitious at this point. Not a lot of superstitious, like Barry says. But if any of you guys had, a pregame routine today, I want to know, are you going to change it up? Are you going to do the same thing? Are you wearing the same clothes? Are you even showering before Sunday? What are you going to do to prepare for the first Game 7 in Sacramento in, gosh, I don't even know how long. I didn't even have the number for that. 20-plus years? What is it? Barry, do you know when the last Game 7 was?
I think the last Game 7 was 2001, I want to say. And I know
02. Was that Lakers? The Lakers series?
I believe so. And I also think that 2004 is the last year that we actually won a playoff series. So there could be another long drought quickly extinguished here on Sunday.
Absolutely. Oh, look at Nicole coming in clutch. 2004 against the Timberwolves, the last Game 7 for the Sacramento Kings. Of course, we're keeping an eye on the Lakers and Grizzlies right now. The Lakers are trying to close that out, which would, of course, be the team that the Sacramento Kings would face in the Western Conference semifinals. This series has been so crazy, it's almost unimaginable to think that if the Kings are able to pull it off on Sunday, and of course they're still pending the result of tonight's game in LA, but a Western Conference semifinal matchup against the hated Lakers would be the next series. I don't even know how it could get any bigger or better for the Kings than that, right, Barry?
Dude, absolutely ridiculous. You couldn't write this down. You couldn't write this as a script to a movie, but Jack is in the building tonight for the LA Lakers. First time many people have seen him courtside at the game in a long time. We'll see if the Lakers can pull it off. But, dude, all I can say is we got to take it one game at a time. I know on the last stream I was screaming the sky was falling. I was definitely hurt after that Game 5 loss. So I'm just taking it one game at a time. But, if we face the Lakers, we face the Lakers.
Definitely. And, I mean, that's what a playoff series is. It's super highs, super lows, ups and downs, especially a tightly contested one like this that goes the distance to 7 games. You're going to be feeling all of the emotions from one game to the next. But the bottom line is it's win or go home, winner take all, Sunday morning in Sacramento, Game 7. Like 00 says, never shook, believe it. Kings in 7. Let's fucking go. Barry, I'm going to go through the box score here really quickly because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Starting off with the starters, De'Aaron Fox, another fantastic game for him. 26 points, 11 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. The man was 2 of 5 from 3 as well. Kevin Huerter, as you mentioned, made an appearance late in this game with some big-time threes to push the Kings ahead going away there at the end of the fourth quarter. Hopefully that means it's going to continue for him in Game 7. He comes in with 12 points, 3 of 8 from 3. Keegan Murray just has been absolutely incredible the last half of this series. 15 points and 12 rebounds today, 5 offensive boards, and 1 block. He also hit 4 threes, attempted 13 in this game, but 4 made threes. Domantas Sabonis, a rough night for him. Literally almost loses an eye. I mean, the man has been through everything this season. Takes an elbow on a jump ball from Kevon Looney. Fouls out late in this game. Did not shoot well. 7 points, 3 of 12 from the field, but 11 rebounds, 9 of them on the offensive end, including 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Harrison Barnes added 6 points on just 2 of 5 from the field. But the bench, as you mentioned, Barry, came up huge in this game. Malik Monk has been arguably the MVP of the series. 28 points tonight, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, 3 of 6 from 3, 8 of 14 from the field. But he also added 6 rebounds, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Davion Mitchell with 5 points, a Terrence Davis sighting who also fouled out in this game with 7 points, and Trey Lyles with a big double-double off the bench, 12 points and 10 rebounds. Barry, what stands out the most to you from this box score?
Honestly, the thing that stands out most to me is 15 minutes for Harrison Barnes. What the hell?
A little interesting there. I mean, Keegan Murray is playing later in these games now because he's been playing much better. And with the way Malik Monk has been performing, he's been closing these games as well. Harrison, I got to be honest with you, Barry, and with the rest of the chat here. I was at work during this game, so I was kind of paying attention and trying to do work at the same time. I did make it home to catch the final 5 minutes of the game. I am going to rewatch the game from start to finish as soon as this show is over, but it just seemed to me like the Kings finally got contributions from the guys that they've been missing so far in this series. Harrison Barnes maybe was a byproduct of that, or do you think it could have been something else, like a coaching adjustment or a defensive scheme adjustment?
Yeah, definitely some adjustments. I like the fact that Coach Brown brought in Trey Lyles as the first big off the bench. He didn't stick with Alex Len tonight, which I think really helped the Kings. Trey Lyles played great, so I was really, really happy to see him out there. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm just laughing at seeing all these Warriors fans' Twitter spaces. I see one called "The Warriors got their ass kicked tonight." I love it, dude. I got to go laugh at all these Warriors fans after they laughed at me after the Game 5 loss. So shout out to all my shitty Warriors fans out there.
Absolutely. Shout out to Alfie Man, who says the arena was quiet at the end there. Yeah, you could hear a pin drop in Chase Center.
Yep.
They were so dumbfounded as to what happened with this team that is 10-2 in closeout games, make it 10-3, and it should be 10-4 on Sunday because the Kings are closing this out in 7. Barry, you brought up the Warriors fans. Everybody has been all over Twitter. It's been blowing up during this series. I've kind of been on the sidelines with 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Well, that all changed today. I've got a good story for you here. I'm at work, and I go up to this group of people early in the day, say hi, what can I get you guys to drink? The guy, one of the guys notices, oh, you're a lefty and you're from Sacramento. And I said, yeah, absolutely I am. And he goes, well, your Kings are going down today. And I said, oh, you guys are Warriors fans. That's cool. Well, I think we're going to have a Game 7 in Sacramento. So we kind of trade a little back and forth. At this point, it's really, not much. So I put all of their food in. Their food comes out. I come over. They ordered a couple of things. I noticed that there's only one bowl of food sitting there. So I say, oh, I'm sorry. Are you guys missing something? And the gentleman who made the Warriors comment to me says, oh, yeah, we're missing the salad. So I go back into the kitchen, I get the salad, and I come back out, and the woman, his wife, sitting next to him is eating the salad that I went to go back and grab. And I kind of looked and I said, oh, did somebody come and bring this while I was gone? And his wife goes, oh, no, it was here the whole time. So this guy tried to swindle me out of his free salad and then has the audacity to say, oh, well, I'm actually neutral on the game until we get the check. I just couldn't believe it, man. Like, are you kidding me? A salad? That's what you're trying to get out of this? Then the game starts. The bar is completely flooded with Warriors fans. They're screaming from the very jump. It couldn't get any worse. And then I go over to one of my cabanas at the end of the day. This point, we're in the fourth quarter. Kings are up 10. And after they sign the check and I'm walking away, they say, oh, go Warriors. And I said, well, good luck, man. It looks like we're going to Game 7. So fuck the Warriors fans. I can't stand them. I'm with you, Barry. Let's do it together in Game 7.
Cal, did you spit in their food?
They weren't cops, so no, I didn't spit in their food.
Oh, you're such a nice guy. Such a nice guy.
But no, I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous that all of this beef that's going on Twitter, I mean, look, I get it. Everybody is in love with their team. They want their team to win. But this stuff has just taken it to an entirely new level. And, of course, social media is going to do that. But I'm just glad that the game is settled on the court and not in Twitter, right?
Right, for real. You know what you need to start asking them, Cowbell, when they say, oh, we're Warriors fans. Say, how many Warriors games did you go to this year? How many Warriors games did you go to last year? Because a lot of these people I've been talking to, Calvin, they're like, oh, we're Warriors fans. I'm like, oh, really? How many games did you go to? And they're like, oh, we didn't go to any games this year. And it's like, okay, so what kind of fan are you? I live in fucking Hawaii, and I can travel to games. Yeah, you can leave that right there. Warriors fans suck ass.
Warriors fans suck ass. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Barry, I know you can't see this, or maybe you're watching on YouTube, but everyone is saying hi to you right now. PK says hi. I think Alfie Man
shout
said
out
hi
PK.
as well. Yep.
I cannot see the chat, so love all you beautiful people. Love all your beautiful comments. Unfortunately, I cannot see them tonight. So, Calvin, if you see any good ones, please read them out to me.
Definitely. Ricky says hi as well. They're just flooding in right now. They all miss you.
Ricky!
They're stuck with me and my bum haircut here.
Dude,
Double O
I'm
says this
wandering
series
around.
is epic. It 100% is epic. And, man, could you have asked for anything better than to crown it with a Game 7 at home?
Hell yeah. I'm wandering around some closed convention center at the West End, yelling at my phone. So I know people are looking at me weird, but I'm going to keep doing it.
Hey, we're on cloud 9, man. It doesn't matter what looks you're getting in the lobby right now. Kings win, light the beam. Just to go back to the statistics here to cover and wrap it up with team stats, the Kings only shoot 40% from the field in this game. The Warriors shoot 37%, but the Kings definitely made up for it from three, 37.8%, 17 made threes. The Warriors just 10 of 32 from three. Rebounds, Kings dominated on the glass here, which has been a huge, huge statistic for this series. 53-42 and 18-11 on the offensive glass. The Kings finally had more assists than the Warriors in this game as well, 25-20. Turnovers, 20 turnovers for the Sacramento Kings, who still win this game by double digits. Thankfully, the Warriors also coughed up 18 turnovers, and the Kings took better advantage of those opportunities, 23 points off turnovers for the Sacramento Kings, including 18 fast break points, and they outscored them in the paint 44-36. Barry, we've, kind of been diving into these numbers, maybe a little bit too much, but I guess that you kind of have that tendency when you get locked in a 7-game series. Is there anything that really kind of stands out the most to you in this particular game from the team stats, and how it is going to play out in Game 7? Did the Kings figure some things out here, or did they just knock down shots?
Well, it seems like both teams didn't really knock down shots. The field goal percent was not where you really wanted to be. I did want to point out, Calvin, that De'Aaron Fox was not the leading scorer for the Sacramento Kings tonight in a win. So I just want to throw that out there.
I was waiting
but really,
for that.
What was the free throw percentage for the Golden State Warriors? Because it seems like the Warriors just completely forgot how to shoot free throws.
I am so glad that you said that. I specifically glossed over this because I was waiting for somebody to bring it up. The Warriors were 25 of 35 from the free throw line in this game.
Ooh.
That means they have missed in the last 2 games combined 17 free throws. This is arguably the best free throw shooting team in the league. They didn't have that statistic or that number this season, but Steph Curry is one of the greatest free throw shooters of all time. Jordan Poole, great free throw shooter. Klay Thompson, the list goes on. And you're right. They have really struggled at the free throw line over the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think Curry missed 3 free throws tonight, which is really, really weird. You mentioned 10 total threes tonight for the Warriors. I believe Curry made half of those. He made 5. But the Warriors, I mean, you could take all these stats and we could extrapolate them however we want. But the point is, the Kings won the effing game. We're moving to Game 7. The Warriors looked a little lost tonight, Calvin. Draymond Green didn't seem to have the same fire as he did. And then I also want to point out, what is up with the Domantas Sabonis black eye, dude? It looks like the dude went fucking 3 rounds in a boxing match before this game.
Yeah, that was a nasty, nasty elbow that he took there. Again, it was on a jump ball. I didn't actually see – I saw the replay of him getting hit in the face. I didn't see it as it was happening live. I know they were talking about that play was reviewed, I guess, and they were trying to say, should they be able to call the foul? It's not a part of the reviewable play, I guess, so they couldn't assess a foul on the play. Did you see any of that?
I saw a little bit. I was in the casino at the moment, so I didn't really lock into the game until the second half. But I mean, it is what it is. Guys are getting hit. Domantas Sabonis has got beaten up all series long. And I just got to give it to him, man. The dude's got a broken finger. They're trying to take out our eyes again, Calvin. How many times last season did we see somebody in the Kings get hit in the eye, poked in the eye? So I just got to give another shout out to Domantas Sabonis. I know a lot of Kings fans are going to look at the box score tonight and they're going to say, Sabonis didn't do much. He only had 7 points. He fouled out in this game. We need more from Sabonis. No, Sabonis, I thought, did a good job tonight. I know the shooting percentage is not where you want it to be, 3 of 12 from the field, but he did knock down a 3, which was something I talked about on the last podcast that we need him to do to help kind of stretch out that floor. So the dude is just working so hard inside against Kevon Looney. 11 rebounds tonight for Sabonis. Looney has been incredible for the Warriors. 13 rebounds for him tonight. Just a shout out for Looney. The dude is so underrated. And Calvin, if we're talking about maybe trying to pick up a backup center next year, I would love to have Looney. I do not think he'll be available. I think he's still got 2 years left under contract with the Warriors. But, hey, if something were to happen, this dude would be a perfect fit as a backup center on the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, any team that has Kevon Looney coming off the bench for them at center, that's automatically, one of the better, more reliable, valuable backup centers in the league. I mean, this dude has done it for years in Golden State, and he's just a perfect complementary player, a role player, right? The guy that will do all the dirty work for you, doesn't need the ball, doesn't look to score, but is a willing passer, a beast on the boards. And then going back to Domantas Sabonis, you made some really good points. He has kind of been put through the ringer so far in this series, both on the court and off. And, of course, tonight, if you look at the box score, like you said, it would appear that he didn't do much. But I think that this game was a great microcosm for what Domantas Sabonis' season has been. Not statistically, he wasn't close to a triple-double. He didn't dominate, inside other than on the glass. But he has worked so hard for this team all season long. They have said it, him and De'Aaron Fox, from the beginning of the year. They knew how important this season was to the franchise, to the city, to the fans, and they are literally putting the city and the franchise on their backs and trying to carry them through the year to a division championship, to a first-round playoff win. He has done all of the dirty work for them. And like you said, he's been beaten up since day one. Teams are being physical with him. They're trying to knock him off of his, off his game, get under his skin, rattle him a little bit. But he's just better than that. He's so strong, as the Island Boys say, right? And I think that he was so important for them all year long. But even in this series, not necessarily because or because of the points he's putting up or the statistics that he's putting up, but the way that he's battling, the leadership that he's bringing to this team, those are qualities that we've talked about so badly missing from this team over the past 16 seasons, and why they haven't been able to change the culture and turn things around. It almost changed overnight as soon as Domantas Sabonis stepped into the Sacramento Kings facility. I want to give a shout out to Sass. I'm not sure if he's watching the show. I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but him and I were exchanging some messages on Twitter earlier, talking about Sabonis specifically, but the Kings' game plan defensively, what adjustments they could make, maybe what Mike Brown was going to look to do today. And one of the things Sass brought up was the pick and roll that the Warriors run, or not even necessarily pick and roll, but all the screens that they're constantly throwing at you, and how Sabonis was doubling off of a lot of those screens, and it was leaving the middle of the floor wide open, which the Warriors were just picking them apart with. Drop-offs to Looney, drop-offs to Draymond Green, who would either have wide open looks at the rim, or they would kick it over to somebody else for a baseline run, cut, and a dunk. And one of the things Sass said is he would like to see maybe a little more hedging or a little more of a drop from Sabonis, not an immediate double, so they can kind of help take the middle of the floor away. And it looks like they did a lot more of that today, and it seemed to frustrate the Warriors. I mean, they didn't shoot well. Some of that stuff is not necessarily just from that, but 99 points allowed, The Warriors only scored 36 points in the paint. Barry, is this something that you think should continue moving forward, or is Mike Brown on to something here, or do you think it was more of just the Warriors played a bad game?
It's really hard to tell, Calvin. As much as I'd like to hate on the Warriors and say that, this is a trend that I see continuing to happen, I think that this is probably just a bad game for them tonight. I don't know if they just weren't prepared. Maybe they thought that, we're the experienced team. The Kings are young. They're not going to be ready for tonight's game. I don't know if they thought tonight's game was going to be a cakewalk or not, but the Kings came out hot. They punched the Warriors in the mouth, and the Warriors just weren't ready. I think there's a famous quote by Mike Tyson where he says, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. That's exactly what the Kings did to the Warriors tonight. They punched them in the face, and everything seemed to fall apart for Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors. I need that same energy from the Kings on Sunday, Calvin.
Absolutely. Davion Mitchell had a great quote before this game started today. He said, look, it's win or go home. We've got to punch them in the mouth first. We have to come out ready. And they have to have the same mentality going into Game 7 because, look, it's win or go home, right? I mean, both teams are in a desperation mode at this point, and the Warriors are going to be really disappointed with this performance at home, a chance to close it out in San Francisco. And, of course, they won the last game in Sacramento, so they'll be confident that they can come back and do the same thing again. The Kings have to have that same type of mentality right from the beginning of Game 7, and I think that they will because, as Jesus here says in the chat, Game 7 will be nuts. And I do want to back up here for a little bit. I got lost in the chat there for a second, but a couple of you guys are asking where Barry is. He is out of town in Las Vegas visiting his dad. He'll be back, unfortunately, after Game 7 for me because he won't be in the studio. But that is good news for the Sacramento Kings because, as Barry points out at the start of this show, the Kings are undefeated when Barry is not in the studio and out of the state of Hawaii. So I guess that means the Kings are going to win Game 7, and we are on to the Western Conference semis.
Hey, I'm just trying to do whatever I can to help the team, Coach. Whatever I can do. You need me to go to Vegas, I'll go to Vegas.
Absolutely. Shout out to Jesus again. This could be a pass of the torch series. There's no secret about it. The Kings are no longer on the outside of the NBA front court, front line looking in. They've given NBA fans an absolute show in this series. I think they've turned a lot of heads. De'Aaron Fox has turned a lot of heads with his performance. Malik Monk has been absolutely big time for this team, and they have one of the brightest futures in the NBA. So if they're able to win this series in 7 and advance, I think that is a huge confidence builder for this young team moving forward. They've got a lot of these guys locked up under contract. Of course, this offseason will be a big one, in terms of getting an extension done for Sabonis, and that will definitely play a big part in the Kings' future. But this could not be going any better at this moment where we sit right now. Of course, there's still a Game 7 to play, but hey, we're here and we're lighting the beam. Barry, should we light the beam on the show here? I know you can't see it, but I think we should give everybody what they want.
I would love to light the beam, but real quick, before we do that, I just want to comment on Jesus' comment there, because I thought that was great. This could be a passing of the torch. It really, really could be. But also at the same time, I just want a lot of people to kind of think about this. The Kings are playing with house money right now. They're free. They're free to do whatever they want on Sunday in Game 7. Win or lose, I know myself and a lot of people are going to be extremely, extremely happy with this Sacramento Kings season. We had people on national television picking the Kings to win the series over a reigning champion Golden State Warriors team. We had a lot of people saying that this is the best series in the NBA playoffs so far this season. So I think the Kings have already done a lot to gain some attention, to gain some respect, and a lot, beyond just the fan base. But I'm talking about guys in national media, and I've had conversations with not Warriors fans, but other reasonable fans that say, hey, the Kings are looking pretty good. They're on the right path. So this is what I'm trying to say. Sunday, Kings win or lose, I think a lot of us are going to be really extremely happy. Of course, we want them to win the series, But if they do not win the series, we'll still be extremely happy. You look at the Golden State Warriors, they are in a completely different situation, Calvin. If they lose on Sunday, there's going to be Warriors fans shouting that Draymond Green should be traded, that Klay Thompson is over the hill, and all this stuff. They're going to be depressed. It's going to be a lost season for the Golden State Warriors and for their fans. So they really have a big burden above them on Sunday before the game versus the Kings. I think the Kings are going to be playing nice and free. They got nothing to lose here at this point, from my perspective, Calvin.
Without a doubt, man. Moho916 here is echoing the call of that changing of the guard. He says, time for a changing of the guard. Go Kings. This could definitely be one of those turning point moment series for both teams, as you point out, right? The Warriors, everybody has been waiting for the end of the Warriors dynasty, and a lot of people thought that it had already happened maybe a couple of years ago. Then they come back. They win another title last season on a great postseason run. Klay comes back healthy, and you get this feeling that maybe it's never going to die. But, of course, all good things have to come to an end, and why not come to an end on Sunday in Sacramento? I think that it's very, very fitting, and you're absolutely right, as everybody is echoing here in the chat. This is one franchise that is on the rise here, and another, is still very, very formidable. But, of course, Father Time is undefeated, and it might be time to say goodnight. As Joe says goodnight here, thank you for tuning in to the Warriors dynasty.
Yeah, it could be. Last question, Calvin, before we light the beam. And this, I wasn't going to bring him up, but I already brought him up. I brought up Draymond Green. Draymond Green's got a $27 million player option for next season. If they lose this series, do you think that makes him more likely to opt in or less likely?
Man, that's a good question. I think it's really hard to tell at this time. If I had to make a guess, though, look, Draymond Green doesn't seem like the type of person that he's very confident, right? He will always bet on himself. He will never try to undersell himself or undervalue himself. I think that he still believes he is a very, very important player in the NBA, somebody that is worth another long-term deal. So I'm not sure that makes it more likely for him to opt in. I think that he is going to expect to get paid. And I think that if you're looking at it from the Warriors standpoint, their front office is a little bit in flux right now. It's been reported that we don't really know if Bob Myers is going to return or not to this team. If Bob Myers isn't there and they bring somebody new in, I can't really see why that person would be willing to extend Draymond Green a big contract or a multi-year contract, right? Like, it just doesn't seem very likely. So maybe as a result, that means it's more likely that he'll opt in. But I still think the chances that he plays for Golden State next year, whether he opts in or not, are pretty slim, especially if they lose this series.
Yeah, and you mentioned Bob Myers. If he does stay with the Golden State Warriors, he will be the highest paid executive in basketball. You combine that with the huge, salary of the Golden State Warriors team. I don't know how much more Joe Lacob can go, especially for a team that if they lose in the first round of the playoffs, maybe it's not worth it at that point. I'm not quite sure. I honestly think that if the Kings win the series, Draymond Green opts in because he feels like, he's not a quitter. He needs to come back and do it again next year and be better. Maybe he doesn't feel like he deserves a new contract if the Warriors lose in the first round. I'm not really quite sure. But if he does opt in for that $27 million, that could handicap the team even further. And like you said, if Bob Myers is not there and Draymond Green opts in, maybe the new GM has to trade Draymond. We will see what happens. But Calvin, let's light the beam.
Let's light the beam. The beam is lit.
The beam is lit. Wow, look at that beautiful purple beam in the sky.
It is so beautiful. It's been a while.
It is so beautiful.
Man,
I saw a funny
that feels
comment
good.
a couple days, Calvin. Someone said the Kings are going to end the season the same way they started it, on a 4-game losing streak. And I started thinking about that, and I was like, man, we just lost 3 in a row. If we lose this 4th game in a row, that statement could be true. So happy it didn't happen tonight. I'm feeling great, dude. I'm feeling really confident in this Kings team. They weathered the storm. Yes, it's not over, but I'm just so happy with the resiliency that I've seen out of this team. You know, they didn't give up. They didn't quit. They're ready. They're fighting. There's a lot of improvements in this year, and you know, however far they go this year in the playoffs, the lessons that they've learned over the past couple games is going to stick with them for a long, long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. PK says the only prescription is, of course, you know, it's more cowbell. And there's going to be a lot of cowbell on Sunday in Sacramento. I can guarantee you that. Shout out to Gilbert, who says the script writers this season, fire, fire, fire emoji. Game 7 in Sacramento. I mean, if you had told me before the season started that the Kings will play a Game 7 winner go home in the first round of the playoffs at home against the Warriors, I would have told you that you were crazy. I just didn't think that was absolutely possible, as, of course, everyone knows because I don't have any hair left to show for it. But, man,
you would bet your
it
hair
just
on it.
could not get any better, right? It's beam time.
It's crazy, dude. It really is crazy. Are we, is life real? Are we in a simulation, Calvin? Because this is crazy. And if we're playing 2K right now, I'm playing all the starters as much as I can on Sunday.
Absolutely. Gilbert says anything is possible, just like Kevin Garnett. And it seems to be true. Anything is possible. Kings could go on a run here and win the whole thing for all I care.
That would be amazing, Calvin. That would be amazing. Calvin, give me your thoughts on the game tonight, because I know you didn't catch all of it, but you did watch the end there, and I know you're going to rewatch it. But, you know, what did you see differently from the Kings in the last 5 minutes? Let's say maybe 10 minutes of this game, because I know it was a little bit of a blowout. But you know, the last game, the last 5 minutes or so, Fox looked disengaged. As I mentioned, I don't know if he re-aggravated that injury or what happened. Did not seem to be affecting him at all tonight, especially late in the game. So I want to hear your thoughts about, you know, maybe the last 10 minutes or so of the game. What did you see different out of this team?
Well, by the time I actually had, you know, undivided attention to sit down and watch the game, it really was out of hand at that point. I mean, I think the Kings were up 13 or 15 by the time I really started watching. And it was only a couple of minutes later when the Warriors conceded and pulled all of their starters. But as I was watching kind of the first quarter of this game, I did have a little bit of downtime that I was able to catch, you know, a fair part of the first quarter. It's just, I think that every game in this series has started off really well for Sacramento. They've come out after so many games during the regular season where we would come on this show and say, well, the Kings came out and laid an egg in the first quarter again. They were down 15 or 20, you know, by midway through the first or midway through the second. And then they had to claw their way back with a massive effort in the third quarter and ended up losing the game. That hasn't really happened at any point in this series. They've come out very, very strong. Fox has been really aggressive really early, which is another thing that we have talked about a lot during the regular season. Mr. Clutch saves it for the fourth quarter. Maybe he could be a little bit more aggressive early on in the game, and that might change things for them. He's been very aggressive very, very early in all of these games, very determined to get to the basket and put up shots. I saw the same thing in this game. Keegan Murray has just been a revelation for me over the last couple of games. His aggressiveness early on, you know, Game 5 in Sacramento, I think he had, for the first 6 points of the game maybe, all coming on fast break opportunities where he's pushing the ball himself or, you know, getting a great pass from somebody who's pushing the pace as well. The Kings have definitely put the pedal to the metal in this series, and that's been a result of high turnover numbers for both teams. I think that the biggest difference in this game was, and now that Sass is here, again, I want to shout him out because we talked about a potential defensive adjustment that the Kings could make. not, doubling right away off the screens with Sabonis, playing more of a hedge or a drop coverage. And then Progressive G is here talking about how the Kings attacked the paint in the first half. I do have to say that I think the Kings have tried to make an effort to attack the paint in every game. Some of the problems that they've had in other games were key turnovers, losing the ball. The Warriors have gotten a lot of sort of pickpocket steals, whether it was off of Fox or Sabonis or somebody else who's driving to the paint. They have attacked the paint throughout the course of this series. The difference is they haven't always been able to convert. In some games, they haven't been able to get to the free throw line, which is, of course, a separate issue in itself. But then the overlying thing is when you do attack the paint, that usually opens up wide open looks from three for guys who are consistently good three-point shooters like Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter. And those guys have not, until very, very recently, knocked down those open opportunities. They did in this game, though. Neither team shot well, but the Kings hit 17 threes in this game. So, yes, they do need to attack the paint, but that also opens up the rest of the floor for this team. The biggest adjustment I think that they've made, besides maybe changing up the way that they operate off of these pick and rolls for the Warriors, is a more consistent focus on the glass, right? You mentioned it. Kevon Looney has been incredible in this series. He's been a one-man wrecking crew, and he's also opened up lanes for other guys who are really good rebounders for their size, like Dante DiVincenzo, Kuminga, the list goes on, right? The Warriors have a lot of small wing players or guards who are sneaky good rebounders because Kevon Looney commands so much presence inside. And if there's somebody that can go toe-to-toe with Sabonis in there, Looney has definitely proven that he's one of those guys that can do it. So tonight they were really, really good on the glass. Plus 11, I believe it is, overall on the glass, and 18 offensive rebounds. Keegan Murray was a big part of that. 5 offensive rebounds for him, 9 for Sabonis. They've been they knew that this was, do or die, win or go home, right? So I think that this was just a culmination of the Kings finally had a good shooting game from 3. They continued to be aggressive early in the game, and then they made a couple of key adjustments defensively, which forced the Warriors, to maybe have to change up the way they operate a little bit. And fortunately for the Kings, the Warriors were not able to knock down outside shots. That was the biggest swing in this game. The Kings were plus 7 more threes made, plus 21.
Feels good to be a Kings fan right now. That's all I can say. We saw, Steph Curry hit a 3 late. The Warriors cheered. The fans cheered. De'Aaron Fox comes right up the court, hits a 3 in his face. Kings need to make threes. That's really what this series comes down to. They live by the 3. They die by the 3. They live by the 3 tonight. We'll see what happens on Sunday.
That's very true. And Progressive G says they had a decent shooting game from 3. 17 of 45 isn't good. That might be true. I mean, 37.5% is above average for the NBA. But I will say that they were 17 of 40 before it was late in the game, and they were kind of maybe taking some shots that really didn't change much. So they were shooting late in the fourth quarter over 40% from 3 in this game, which is by far and away the best that they've had in the series. And it was enough to get the win. That's all that really matters, right?
That's all we care about. We just want dubs, not the Golden State dubs, the dubs that we get after we beat down the dubs.
That is right. That is right. I love my life. Shout out. Welcome to the show. Sunday, 3:30 Eastern time. Man, Barry, that is 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. I am going to be up early, and I will probably have a few beverages before the game is over. It's going to be one of those nail-biting games. Game 7.
Dude, I'm so excited.
Edge of your seat game. Light that beam. Christian says, where is Barry? Barry is out of town. He is visiting his father in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. So if you guys need Barry to put some money down for you on the Kings to win Game 7, I'm sure he would be happy to do so. And, of course, as we've already talked about earlier in the show, everybody should be very happy that Barry is out of town even though it sucks for me because I can't get Twitter Spaces going and I suck at technology and all this stuff. But it's good news for the Kings because they are undefeated in this series when Barry is not in the state of Hawaii, and that is the case for Sunday's Game 7.
Holy shit, Calvin. You see the score on this Lakers game?
No, what's the score?
74-49.
Lakers.
I think the Lakers might have this one in the bag. Wow, a lot of upsets, Calvin.
Game.
A lot of upsets this year in the playoffs.
That's true. Not one for the first time. First time it's ever happened, but there will be two potentially play-in teams that win a first-round series. Of course, playoff Jimmy, or as they're now calling him, Himmy Butler, led the Miami Heat to a convincing series win over the presumptive presumptive NBA champion favorite Milwaukee Bucks. They were, of course, my pick for the second straight year to win the NBA championship. So I will never pick them again to win. It will only be the Sacramento Kings from here on out.
Who came up with that
Christian.
name?
Barry Christian says, let's get Barry on the no-fly list.
Yeah. Dude, who came up with Himmy? Was that Mark Jones?
I'm not sure who actually gets credit for the Himmy Butler name.
That's funny. So, yeah, the Lakers, they were a play-in team, right? The Lakers could defeat the Grizzlies tonight. That's a play-in.
Yes.
Miami Heat defeated the Bucks. That's a play-in team?
Yep.
Wow.
And even the Atlanta Hawks took the Boston Celtics, the defending Eastern Conference champions, almost to the brink. They forced a Game 6, and it was a little bit close there in that Game 6 as well until the Celtics finally put them away late.
So, Calvin, you mentioned that you think or you thought that the Milwaukee Bucks were going to win the championship. They were your favorite. Put your crown down. Take your crown off for a second, Calvin. Who's your new favorite to win the title this year?
Whew. Man, I just feel like after this first round, it's completely wide open. I mean, as much as I hate to say it and don't want to say it, the Lakers look really good right now. They're playing great defense. Anthony Davis has been an absolute monster. They still have LeBron. All of their new acquisitions have played really, really well. And they are taking on a depleted Memphis team, but still a very good and talented Memphis team. And they've really, they're having their way with them right now. Of course, a lot of people are going to say Boston, is still a presumptive favorite. I think a lot of people had Boston as the favorite even before Milwaukee was knocked out. But they haven't been without their flaws as well. Philadelphia just swept a undermatched or overmatched Brooklyn team, but they've played really, really well all season long. You've got the Suns and the Nuggets squaring off against each other. That's going to be a great series as well. It's really, really hard for me to decide on a favorite right now. The Knicks have looked very good so far in the postseason. And then you've got Himmy Butler, who's only averaging almost 38 points a game in the playoffs. So that's a really tough call.
It's going to take me a while to get used to that nickname. Yeah,
and,
and also
shout
you
out
mentioned
to Sass.
Philadelphia.
We got Trey Lyles for Marvin Bagley. That should go down in history as maybe one of the greatest trades of all time.
Yeah, and people were talking about how tonight might have been one of the greatest playoff wins for the Sacramento Kings in their franchise history. A Game 6 on the road against the reigning champions. I agree with that until Sunday's game. We'll see what happens on Sunday.
Yes. No, it's true. You can say that the last couple of games have been, Game 5 was the biggest game in Golden One Center history. Game 7 will, of course, be the new biggest game in Golden One Center history. And, that winning this Game 6 on the road against the defending champs, man, that is definitely going to go down as one of the pivotal moments, in the Sacramento Kings franchise history.
Wow. We're living in history, Calvin. It feels good.
Every moment. I'm about to crack open another beer because fuck it, light the beam. We won.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And
I'm about to go to the
Fred
bar and get a cocktail.
Here from across the pond who is tuned in. Fred, I know you were asking about Twitter Spaces earlier. Barry, as you can tell, is not in studio today, and He's usually the guy that sets up all this stuff and runs the Twitter Spaces for us. I gave it my best shot to get it started. I was unable to do so. I would love to have you call in. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but we'll have to wait for Sunday and Game 7, and hopefully we'll get it working by then. And, yes, Fred says keep Barry away.
Oh, man, this is turning into a hate Barry now. Last stream was Barry's hair is crazy, and now it's get Barry on a no-fly list. Okay, I see how it is.
It's all for the good of the team, Barry. It's all for the good of the team, right?
Hey, you know I'm a team player. So let's talk about Sunday's game, man. Give me your keys to the game on Sunday.
Well, at this point in the series, you know, I think it's the same types of things that we've talked about the whole way, right? I mean, both of these teams have played a really tightly contested series. They kind of operate in very similar ways. So you're number one, you're going to have to battle on the glass. You're going to have to control it. Keep fighting on the offensive glass. You know, if Kevon Looney ends up with another 20 rebound game, that could spell disaster for Sacramento. So it's got to be a gang rebound mentality for the Sacramento Kings. I would love for them to continue to go to Keegan early. I think that dude's got a ton of confidence right now. The three-point shot has finally come back. You can just tell how different he looks just from when he catches the ball. I mean, it's no longer this kind of deer in the headlights look. What do I do with it? Should I put it on the floor? Should I pass? He's being very aggressive with it. Jab steps as soon as he gets the ball. He's out there looking to score and looking to be aggressive. And that, of course, continues for rebounding as well. The bench has been an unbelievable key for them in this series all season long. Has been a key for the team all season long, and it's been a huge key in this series. So Trey Lyles having a much better game tonight with a double-double. Malik Monk's been absolutely incredible for them. They're going to have to get great performances from the bench in order to win Game 7 at home. Sabonis and Fox, you know, they've played through them all year long, right? Both of them are banged up. Both are dealing with broken fingers. It's going to be a battle for them, right, physically to make it through. But I think that they've shown that they can do that throughout the course of this season. I have no, worry about them being able to do it in a Game 7 where your adrenaline is going to be absolutely through the roof. Fox might not even need, a cortisone shot or anything because of how much adrenaline he'll have going into Game 7 at home. The three-point shot, as much as I hate to say it, all of the rest of this stuff we've talked about is key, right? You've got to stay in an attack mentality. You've got to make everything difficult for these shooters, close out hard on them. I love the drop coverage that we talked about earlier with Sabonis trying to take the middle of the floor away, because that's just how the Warriors pick you apart, and they're able to spread the floor with so many great shooters. If that ball gets into the middle of the floor easy, it's over. It's good night, because you're going to give up a wide open three or you're going to give up a dunk pretty much every time. And then, as much as I don't want to say it could come down to fouling or officiating or the free throw line, the Warriors have missed a lot of free throws in these last couple of games. I think being at home is going to help Sacramento in that regard, but I don't think you're going to get lucky enough to win 2 games in a row with somebody like Sabonis fouling out.
I love what you said about Keegan Murray, because the dude has looked like a completely different player. I know we won the first 2 games of the series, and that was with Keegan looking very, very uncomfortable. I think he knows he belongs out there now. I think he feels like he belongs out there, and it's showing. You mentioned the shooting, also the rebounding. Huge rebound for him tonight, late in this game. I love what I'm seeing out of Keegan Murray. The dude just impresses me more and more as the season goes on. But I think he is going to be the key to Game 7 for the Kings. Obviously, Malik Monk, he's my X factor for this team. But I think Keegan should be huge for the Kings. We'll see how he shoots on Sunday. But the dude is he's an incredible player. I cannot believe he is a rookie. It's so hard to just understand what Keegan's doing as a rookie. There's no other rookie in the NBA that's put in the position that Keegan Murray has been put in. And he's had a couple games where he's been up and down. Don't get me wrong. But what I've seen out of him lately has been absolutely incredible. I love me some Keegan Murray, Calvin. I think I might have to pick up a jersey.
Oh man, you know it's good when Barry's talking about buying somebody's jersey.
Hey, real quick, did you see the Anthony Edwards thing?
Oh yeah, with the chair or whatever, that he injured a couple of people swinging a chair.
Yeah, what is up with that?
I'm not exactly sure. I did read a little bit about that. Of course, his lawyer is, denying everything and saying that he is wrongfully accused and all this stuff, that he didn't swing a chair near anybody. It's an interesting situation. I think it's a little bit too early to make any, conclusive statement about it, though, at this point.
All I'm saying is if the Kings win on Sunday, hopefully all the Kings staff members are staying out of the Golden State Warriors tunnel, because we know Draymond Green will not be happy.
Yes, that is 100% correct. Yeah, you will definitely have to put a big roll of caution tape around Draymond Green as he's exiting the arena in Golden One Center if they lose. But I do want to give a little shout out to Keegan, since we talked about him. So let's get a Keegan
Murray.
Yeah, he's been so good all year long. Of course, there's been ups and downs. I mean, every player goes through ups and downs during the course of an 82-game season. And when you're a rookie, those are going to be even more exaggerated, just like we've seen so far in this playoff series. But the dude, every time that he's been faced with a little bit of adversity, whether it's just getting into the NBA and kind of learning the game and adjusting to the size and the speed and the strength of everybody out there, he conquered that. He had the issue with his family early on in the season where all of a sudden his play started dropping. People were a little concerned about it. He battled through that. I mean, he does this, of course, the whole time, without ever changing the expression on his face. You would never really know that anything is bothering him or affecting him. He just goes out there, puts his head down and plays. Mike Brown challenges him both publicly and privately. He responds to that. He becomes a better rebounder. He takes on bigger defensive assignments over the course of the season. Suddenly his offensive game starts to expand. I mean, for a guy that, Paolo Banchero ran away with Rookie of the Year this season, and he had a great season. He put up a lot of really, really good numbers. But I don't think there's been a more impactful rookie in the NBA this year than Keegan Murray, and he's going to be rewarded with an all-rookie first-team, selection. And the future is so bright for this kid. Every step of the way throughout the season has been a huge, I would say, important confidence booster for his personal growth and future. This playoff series alone, regardless of what happens the rest of the way, if they're able to win Game 7, move on to the next round where he will gain even more experience in that series. This dude is going to come into next season, kind of like a seasoned veteran already with the type of experiences that he's had throughout the course of his rookie year. And I think his demeanor and his attitude towards all of that is only going to benefit him even more. So look out for Keegan Murray next season. He could come in like an absolute gangbuster to start the year.
Yeah, maybe next year's most improved player.
Hey, that would be great. That'd be
great for him. That'd be great for the Sacramento Kings.
Most definitely. Sass is giving a shout out here to Terrence Davis being able to come in, take a lot of those minutes from Harrison Barnes. He was a pest defensively. Again, another guy on this team that has had ups and downs this year, played a bunch maybe early in the season, then was completely out of the lineup for a long time, has stayed ready, had the right mentality. Another guy that Mike Brown has very publicly called out during the middle of games, for missing defensive assignments. It's a testament to Mike Brown and his coaching ability, the way that he's able to get the most out of these guys. But got to feel good for Terrence Davis to be able to come in this game for really not having a big impact on this series overall and making a huge impact tonight in a elimination game on the road. Did foul out there at the end, but had some really, really key moments tonight. You want to give some love to Terrence Davis, Barry?
Dude, first shout out to Seth. That was a great comment, and that reminds me, I did want to talk about Terrence Davis today. I totally forgot. Great performance by Terrence Davis. I don't know if it was like game 3 or game 4, I was mentioning, hey, I'd like to see Terrence Davis out there a little bit. I know he did foul out tonight, but I love the energy. I love the effort, and it just gave the Kings a little bit different of a look. We know Harrison Barnes has been struggling a little bit. I think that last shot that he missed, really hurt him and his confidence level. So having a guy like Terrence Davis that you can throw in there and, as you mentioned, be a pest on defense and also still be productive on offense is absolutely huge for the Kings. I love what I saw at Terrence Davis tonight. I hope he gets the minutes in Game 7 because the dude is just a ball of energy. You got to throw him out there and see what you can get out of him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if the Warriors are going to go with a even smaller lineup than what they traditionally do, this was a good counter, I think, from the Kings to go with their own version of the small lineup. Kessler Edwards' name has come up a lot, despite the fact that he really hasn't played much in this series. I think he's got that kind of mystique about him from what we saw in limited minutes and opportunities during the regular season. Do you think in a Game 7 that Mike Brown would kind of roll the dice and change things again and give Kessler Edwards an opportunity here? Or do you think Terrence Davis maybe earned his spot in the rotation for that winner go-home game?
Last game of the season, Calvin. You can't hold anything back.
What a great comment. Oh, man. Shout out to the Water Boy, if anybody knows the reference from that movie. Fantastic. And shout out to Kevin. Kevin Green joins the chat on his way to the airport, leaving the island of Maui for good here. Well, maybe not for good, but at least for the time being. Warriors
shout out
got
to Kevin.
that
He'll be
hepatitis beam, he says.
He'll be back. Dude, I don't even know how I'm still awake, Calvin. I don't know how I still have energy right now. Maybe I'm just high off of this Kings win. But, bro, it's been a long day. Yesterday I worked all day long. I did the yard. I think I flew out at like 11 p.m. My flight got delayed. My connection got delayed this morning, so I was stuck in Phoenix for 3 hours at the bar this morning. And then I've just been go all day long. So thank you, Kings, for giving me the energy. This would have been a rough loss tonight for me.
Well, as Christian points out, you are in Vegas, so you're probably not sleeping, the city that never sleeps, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'd tell you what I was doing right now, but you know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So
that's true. Don't worry. We'll wait for story time when you come back to the studio.
Yeah. I'll tell the story when the Kings are faced up against the Lakers in round 2.
That's right. That is right. We want LA. Beat LA.
And, it's not official yet, but the Lakers are up at the end of the third quarter, 100-67.
Oh, my
goodness.
So
I think it's safe to say the Lakers are moving on.
What an absolute beatdown. I can't say that even though I hate the Lakers, after all the talk that the Memphis Grizzlies have done this season, I'm kind of happy that this is the way it's going to end for them.
Dude, in the Eastern Conference, you have Cleveland, right? They lost to New York. You have Milwaukee. They lost to Chicago. That's 50% of the top 4 seeds in the Eastern Conference that got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. In the West, you have Memphis. We'll see what happens on Sunday against the Kings. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it does happen, that's 50% of the top 4 seeds in the West also getting eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. That's pretty interesting. I like that for the NBA, Calvin, not for the Sacramento Kings, but I'm just saying in general, the league seems to be getting a little bit more balanced, and I'm liking it. I really am.
I've been saying it all year long, Barry. A ton of parity in the NBA. These teams are going to beat each other up, and it is going to make for a very, very exciting playoff run for the NBA. I agree. I think it's great. Fantastic that you've got all these it seems like the league has kind of turned itself upside down, right? I mean, all of a sudden the Kings are good. The Knicks are back, in playoff. They won their first playoff series since 2013, I think it was. Those were back in the Carmelo Anthony days.
Those are rookie numbers, bro. We got 16 years, 17 years over here. They don't even know how to lose like us.
That's true. But I think it just goes to show the NBA, it's got a bright future ahead. We talk about the Kings' future, but so many great young stars in the league that are spread out, over the course of many, many teams. It's no longer the old days where, you have the 2 or 3 heavyweights at the top that really nobody else stands a chance at, and you're just waiting until that Warriors-Cavs NBA Finals, for a fantastic finals series. You're getting great quality basketball early in the first round of the playoffs.
Yes, you are. I'm excited because we're just getting started with the playoffs, Calvin. I'm really excited with everything that's happening here.
Oh, absolutely. Shout out to Sass. He's got to pick somebody up downtown, so he's going to visit the Beam. I am jealous. Jealous. Can't get enough Beam. Tonight's Beam is special, as he points out. Game 6 on the road. All you heard from Warriors fans was, Game 6 Clay is about to show up. You better watch out. Clay goes 2 for 9 from 3 tonight, 22 points. And the Kings win. Big time.
Clay's old.
Beamaholics, as Kevin says. Absolutely, we are Beamaholics. We can't get enough Beam.
Quick question for Kevin, Mr. Bartender Extraordinaire. Kevin, I'm on my way to the bar right now. I want to get something purple. What would you recommend?
Ooh, something purple. I'd love to see what he says to that. Tony Yayo says Clay can't dribble. It's true. Dude scored what? 30 points without dribbling in one game?
I think you forgot how to dribble. He didn't need to dribble.
Christian says Welch's grape is what you should drink. Kevin says an aviation. Classic cocktail.
I'm not a gin guy, Kevin. Not a gin guy.
Oh, wow. Kevin with the one-liners today says with a shot of Jim Beam.
Ooh, I like that. Maybe I should have him light the beam. I can make the beam purple maybe. Maybe we'll do like a beam in blue carousel with some cranberry juice or something. That sounds gross.
That does sound absolutely horrible. But, hey, if it's for the beam, we'll allow it, right? Sounds gross, but it'll be worth it. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Let us know what you're drinking, what you're celebrating tonight's Game 6 win with. I am celebrating with an Ola organic hard tea.
Hola.
It was not by choice. It was the only thing alcoholic left in the fridge. So cheers to y'all. Never had a hard tea before. It's actually not that bad.
I got a drink ticket for something called the Desert Elixir. So I'm going to order from the bar 1 second. So just excuse me for a little bit.
Brian's having a whiskey and Coke. Shout out to Dennis for joining. It's okay, even though you're late. The beam is lit, and we are here. Barry is not here. He's in Vegas. But, of course, that means that the Kings win since he's not in the state of Hawaii. Alfie Man says, where's Nick? That's a good question. He probably is with Deuce and Mo on their Twitter space because I wasn't able to get Twitter spaces working here in the studio today. Hopefully be able to figure it out, fix it for game 7 because we need Nick and his positivity to come in after the Warriors fall in Golden One Center to the Sacramento Kings in Game 7. And yes, of course, there will be pizza, as Brian points out. Whew. Man. What a whirlwind of emotions. Game 7. 3-3. Barry's off at the bar getting a drink. Oh, man. I just can't believe it. This season has been a dream. Light the beam. Light the beam. Keegan! I'm interested to
Murray.
hear from everybody in the chat, as it does look like the Lakers are going to advance, and that is the potential second-round matchup. Are you – of course, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but if the Kings win and advance, is that series going to be bigger than this series in terms of the off-the-court antics? I mean, it is the hated Lakers, but I feel like the Warriors fan base somehow jumped up like 10 notches in this series in terms of annoyance level, hatred level from Sacramento Kings fans. Is it going to be even more of that if it is Kings-Lakers? I mean, it has to be, right, Barry?
I feel like there's going to be a lot of old memories that come up from that, right? And of course, everyone's going to be hating on LeBron James, but I don't know if the Lakers really have like a bruiser guy, an agitator guy, like a Draymond Green. Is there somebody like that on the Lakers? Because honestly, I think things really got bad after the stomp.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I agree with that. And no, I don't really see that type of player on the Lakers.
Quick update on Barry's cocktail. He got a desert elixir from the bar. It is red. And I'm feeling a little robbed here, Calvin, because all he did was just open this little pour spout guy, and it just poured right in there. So it was all pre-mixed. It tastes okay. I'll probably get another one.
What is in a desert elixir? Do you know?
I do not know. But it looks a lot better in the picture on the coupon.
Shout out to PK. He says, no one still gives credit for the Kings winning in the media. Hey, that's okay. People don't want to give us credit. All we do is win. Done it all year long.
You know, it brought up a good point, and I want to bring something up too. Kendrick Perkins, you see that guy flip-flop on the Kings today, Cal?
Sure did.
I love it, dude. Keep it coming, dude. I want to see more media guys flip on the Kings like this because we're just going to prove them wrong and make him eat his words. He said we weren't going to make the playoffs. He said, playoffs? Where? Playoffs where? Well, guess what?
We're keeping all the receipts. I mean, of course, J.J. Redick's already been on blast.
Playoffs?
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Kendrick Perkins is now on blast. Brian Windhorst, all these guys. You know? Forget them.
Yeah, we're keeping receipts and we're checking them twice. Exactly what we're doing. And I'm looking like a scrub walking through the lobby. I think there's a wedding or something going on here, so everyone's dressed up nice, and I'm wearing like sweatpants and a hoodie that I've been wearing since yesterday. So shout out to me.
Barry, I got a question for you. If the Kings win on Sunday in advance, when you come back here into the studio, are we going to have a pizza party?
Ooh, hell yeah. We're having a pizza party.
Yes.
Here's an interesting question for you, Calvin. If the Kings win on Sunday, since we know the Lakers are winning tonight and they're waiting for the Kings, when would be the first game of that series? Would that be Tuesday or Wednesday?
Ooh, that is a very good question. I do not have the answer for that.
Because you know what my Tuesday is going to look like, right?
What Tuesday is going to look like?
For me, yeah. It's going to be a rough one.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. That is going to be a long day for you.
At 1:55
I mean, I really
a.m.
think it's going to depend on the other series, right? I mean, because, look, today, for example, the reason – fuck the Lakers, by the way. The reason that the Kings game was early is because the Lakers didn't close out Game 5. They had to play Game 6 in L.A. So, of course, because they're the Lakers, they get the late slot, and the Kings have to play early.
And then if we play the Lakers, we'll get the late spot.
That's true. That's very true. But I don't know if that would be a Tuesday or a Wednesday game. I'm sure the schedule is up somewhere. We'll be able to find it. But, again, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. There is a big time game on Sunday. Kings have to get through that first, and then we will worry about the Lakers.
Yeah, good point. All right, Calvin, did you have any predictions for Sunday's game?
Oh, you know the Kings are winning this game. Light the beam. Light the fucking beam. I think the Kings are going to score a ton of points in this game. I'm going to go 127, 120. Kings win. I think it's going to be an offensive just blowout. Not blowout in terms of margin of victory, but I think both teams are going to shoot much better. They're going to come with it. Both teams are going to be ready to play in this game. The Kings are going to ride De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, and the rest of the crew. Let the threes fly. Let it rain. Attack the basket. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored, and the Kings are going to win.
I got a prediction for you, Calvin.
Let's hear it.
I think we see 2 players ejected from the game on Sunday.
Whoa.
I don't know who the second player is, but I'm guessing you can guess who I think the first player ejected will be.
First name Draymond?
Yeah, and his last name is a color.
It is a color. It's the same color as Kevin's last name.
It's funny, the other night, Ash was yelling at the TV during the game, and she starts calling him Draymond purple and blue because that's what he's going to look like after the game. And I was laughing so hard. She's like, he should change his last name because he's going to be purple and blue all over.
Yeah, I think he will probably not have very much air in his lungs left after screaming at the officials in Game 7.
He looked a little tired tonight, Calvin. I'm not going to lie. Did you see him hit his head there late in the game with like 5 minutes left?
I did not see that.
He smacked his head on the court, and he was down for a little bit, holding his head. I wonder if he's going to have a bigger headache tomorrow from that or from losing tonight to the Kings.
Ooh, got to be from the loss. Did you see after Game 5 that the Warriors were calling him Draymond Nowitzki because of that little one-legged leaner he hit in the fourth quarter?
Oh, my God.
Just
say no more, Calvin. Don't make me hate Warriors fans any more than I already do.
It's just absurd, man. Like, come on. If their heads were any bigger, they would hit the Jumbotron in the arena.
Worst fan base in NBA history, Calvin. Not currently. I'm saying in history.
NBA history.
Have you figured out who their mascot is?
No, I have not figured out who their mascot is. I don't know if I've ever seen a mascot at their games.
That's what I'm thinking. Is Draymond Green the mascot?
He might as well be at this point.
Like, I'm trying to remember, and I've been to a decent amount of Warriors games. I've watched a shitload of Warriors games, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, I don't remember seeing a mascot anywhere.
Everyone in the chat is saying E40 is their mascot.
I think they spent too much money on their salary and they can't afford a mascot.
Yeah, probably. But they can afford to have Red Panda perform at halftime every game.
We did see E40 at the game. Will he be at the game on Sunday, Calvin?
I was just going to ask you the same question. Will they
Too
kick
late,
him
I
out?
asked you first. Maybe he'll be one of the ejections. Who knows?
Could very well be. Could be the last one. Well, Barry, I think that about wraps up the show. Do you have any last thoughts for the royal family out there?
Yes, I do. Last thought would be, let's hope that game 1 is on Wednesday for Barry's sake, because Tuesday is going to be a long fucking day.
Yes.
Thought number 2, really, really happy about the win tonight. I know I was doubtful in the last stream, but I knew deep down inside that this is what was going to happen. Sometimes you just got to stare into that beam and just let it guide you. Let the beam guide you to victory. And, I'm a little mad I can't see the beam from Vegas. Maybe that proves that the earth is round and not flat. But I think we're going to see it again on Sunday, Cal. I'm really, really excited for the game. I'm pumped. I know it's early. It's going to be, I think, noon here in Vegas. So I'm going to be out and about having fun. Maybe I'll watch it at the sports book. I want to hear from everybody in the chat. Should I place a bet on the game on Sunday or just not mess with it? Because I don't want to jinx nobody, but it is fun. So let me know in the chat if you guys think I should be placing any bets on Sunday or if I should just let it be.
Yes, let us know in the chat, or you can write it in the comments screen below the video. That way Barry can see it after the stream ends. Tony says no bet right away. That's the first vote.
Okay.
Kevin
No
says
problem.
$100 on the Kings to make the Western Conference Finals.
Also, one more comment. If you have a Twitter account, there's a douchebag on there named Prep Seth Otto, who's a Warriors fan. Been going back and forth with him. He says a lot of stupid stuff. So if you enjoy listening to stupid people, you should follow him because he says a lot of stupid stuff. So just want to throw that out there.
Absolutely. If the Kings win on Sunday, we're all spamming his account. We're going to just put a bunch of beams. Beam, 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 all in his comments, all in his DMs.
Yeah, and fuck the Warriors for trying to copy our beam, dude. I saw that fake-ass beam they had. What was that, Game 3 they lit the beam?
Yeah, Game 3.
I think everyone's jealous, Calvin. Is that the second or third team we've seen this year that's tried to copy the beam? It's only lasted one game for them. But you know what they say, Calvin. What is it? Copycatting is the sincerest form of flattery. So there you go.
There you go. Shout out to Callum. Thank you. I was the only voice of reason after Game 5, saying that this series was not over. They were going to push it to 7, and that will be the most glorious beam that we have ever seen on Sunday.
Callum, you definitely were there, but I also got to give a shout out to my guy Calvin because I don't know, maybe it's something. Your name starts with a C. You see the future, maybe, because Callum and Calvin were both saying, "Hey, it's not over yet. Let's wait till Sunday." And last thing for me, Calvin, I just want you to take a look at your phone to our little group text with our Warriors friend. No messages after tonight's game.
Oh, yeah. I knew that phone was going to be stone cold silent after this game.
Yeah. And I'm not writing anything either because I'm pretending like I've been there and I've done that before.
No, we're going to let this marinate all the way through Sunday, and then as soon as the Kings advance to the Western Conference semis, oh, man, we're going to let it fly. We're absolutely going to let it fly. Brian says, my Warrior friends crickets too. Of course they are.
I wish there was like a auto text app that I could set up. Like I could schedule my messages to all the Warrior friends and send them at like the worst time in the middle of the night.
An AI app for that.
Yeah, light the beam, like every letter, like every minute, just like all night long, light the beam. That'd be great. That'd be great. I'm gonna make his phone light up like the beam.
Well, hey, that's gonna do it for us here on Royal Rebounds. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, great to light the beam here with you after Game 6. Please don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel. As Barry always says, we get paid in likes. We are not professionals, but man, does it help when the Kings win. It is such a validation for us to come on here and share our elation in the Kings' victory with you guys. Mahalo, Brian. Thank you all for watching. We will be live after Game 7 in Sacramento on Sunday. Be there or be square, because I know all those Warrior bitch-ass fans won't be there after they lose. Barry, thanks for joining us from Vegas. Have a great time, my friend, this weekend, and we will see y'all on Sunday. Go Kings, light the beam.
Go Kings, light the fucking beam!
No bouncer tonight, but we'll see you on Sunday.